What double standard disgusts you? If you owe a company money, you will be charged interest/late fees/service interruption almost immediately after the due date. If a company owes you money, you might see it in 4 to 6 weeks/2-3 billing cycles. A bank once made an error and asked my then wife if she could please reissue the check. She said, sure, once I've received payment of your £25 fine. They actually sent it. Father here. On multiple occasions of taking either of my children to the parents' room to change their nappies whilst out and about, I often receive dirty looks from the mothers and have even been asked to leave once. It's a parents' room, not mothers. I just want to care for my damn children the same as you. No limit on sick days policy followed by an annual evaluation where I was told I took the most sick days. Either fucking dock my pay, take away my vacation days, or change your policy. Don't make employees feel like assholes because of guidelines you laid out for them. Banks/businesses can immediately withdraw money from your bank account and apply all their disgusting fees. But for banks/businesses to give you money, you have to wait 7 to 10 business days for the funds to appear. The employee should give 2 weeks notice. Anything else is unprofessional. But the employer will actively obscure their intentions until the very last minute. My last boss had a nasty habit of, upon finding out that an employee was moving to a company we did work for/bought equipment from, he would call said company and tell them, if you hire X person, we'll never work with you again. Then he had the audacity to tell me that it was unprofessional of me to tell him I was quitting day if I trained my replacement once, who had been introduced to me as my assistant, so obviously I wanted to teach them the job properly. I came into work after my weekend and was called over by my boss and told that my assistant had transitioned into my position and thank you for helping them ease into the role. I had a part-time job as a barista at Starbucks for about 18 months. It was the only way to keep our family's health insurance and not go bankrupt after a catastrophic injury situation. Starbucks offers really good insurance for people who work 20 HRS/week. I was 50 years old. I had 2 degrees and a bunch of experience, but I couldn't work full-time. When things had finally settled down enough that I could work full-time again, I got 2 job offers and both of them wanted me to start right away. Yay. Normal life. I was very happy. I told my manager to take me off the schedule. She was very pissed. Like, how dare you cause me all this trouble? Now I have to redo the schedule. She told me I'd better not jump ship like this, or she wouldn't give me a good reference. I actually smiled at her. Honey, do you think I'm ever going to admit that I actually worked here? Eater. On the flip side, I had an employer who brought my entire team into the conference room, pretending it was for a meeting, and informed everyone that we were terminated effective immediately. They collected the work laptops and then escorted each person to their desk. Had somebody standing there watching while we packed up, and within half an hour we were all in the parking lot, unemployed. Kinda like that scene in Succession. I worked for a major retailer in a high-level position. The company decided to restructure and ended up letting go 40% of the people in my position. I was kept employed. The 2 from my store had 15 and 18 years respectively, and they got 0 warning, no option for different positions, just fired. That's when I searched and found a new job. The day I was hired for my new job, I went to my old job and quit. I sat down with my boss and let him know I was leaving. It wasn't his fault, and he was a good guy, so I felt I needed to let him know that. He asked me when my last day was. I told him right now and stressed to him that this company proved it doesn't care about its employees. Because the other people in my position didn't get a warning before they lost their jobs, I won't be giving a notice before I leave. Basically being against violence, but making comments about how men will get raped in prison. It's disgusting and it's so mainstream. Every cop show makes some comment about prison rape being okay. Even shows like SVU where their entire storyline should be about protecting people. Former inmate here. I can tell. You can be the strongest of all but still be raped. Seen it right with my eyes. And let me tell you, no person in a cellmate would joke about it. Yes, it happens. Yes, they make jokes about it. When I was in therapy a couple of months ago, the therapist asked me if I have ever been raped, and she laughs like this is some sort of joke. Since then I said no to the therapy. I was put down. They tried rape me. I got stabbed 3 to 4 times before they left me. If not for the small piece of metal I had. Unless you are a pimp. I have always seen people joke about it, even my father. Like he says I deserved all of it. I can't stop myself from telling you how hard people make you to express yourself. Prisons are not jokes. It is not only about dropping a soap. It gets worse. No one can get it till they see it with their eyes, and when they will I bet they could even speak a word. ***CKING yearn for the day when someone going to a therapist to support your mental health is treated socially how going to the gym is for your physical health. Like just imagine, if in a room full of dudes, I'm a dude, someone said they really made gains in therapy and the homies were supportive. It would legit make the world a better place, but somehow taking care of mental health gets looked down on a lot. ***CK that. When I leave a job, I'm generally expected to give 2 weeks notice, so the company isn't left without essential things being done. When a company decides to let me go though, no warning to start putting in applications or saving more money. You're just gone. Total horseshit. I'm a straight male. I went to a gay bar with some gay women and their straight married women friends. One of the straight women was being basically sexually harassed by another gay woman there, to the point of being chased around the table, all the while saying she was married to a guy and she wanted nothing to do with it. The whole bar was laughing. If I did that to a woman in a regular bar, I'd get my ass kicked, thrown out, or arrested. Someone can treat you however they want and nobody says a word, but the minute you say anything back you're the villain. It makes me sick. I've noticed that everyone loves to tell people to stand up for themselves, but the second someone stands up to them, all of a sudden they're offended and somehow the victim. Or when a family member is being a drama llama and everyone just lets them do what they want, and when someone finally stands up to them, they're the bad guy. They're causing drama. They know cousin Karen is insufferable. Why did they have to confront her? Clearly, it's their fault, not Karen's. Baking is for women. I love watching baking shows and seeing the creativity. I was recently inspired to make a father-daughter pact to bake something with my 5-year-old daughter at least once a week. Next weekend, I'm teaching her to make a checkerboard pattern cake, teaching myself to. Last weekend, we made homemade bread, and she has been asking for a slice of that bread with every meal until now it is almost gone. A certain boomer rock star did a whole bunch of stuff to a girl aged 13, and yet not only did absolutely zero consequences happen, but people all over the world worship him to this day. Imagine if that had been some everyday bloke with his neighbor's daughter or something. He would have been absolutely crucified for far less. MD/2 have to do 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency. Minimum can vary by speciality. X years of fellowship varies by speciality. 12,000 hours minimum not including fellowship, which varies to practice. Independent nurse practitioners complete a 18 to 24 month program with 500 hours and can practice independently in 28 states. I'm a young guy. One of my female coworkers slapped my ass about a month ago. I didn't say anything because I really didn't care too much, but if the roles were reversed I'd be out of here faster than I could say sexual harassment. Cigarette butts. They are not biodegradable, and it's a fire hazard. We have issues with coffee cups, plastic bottles, etc., but we are totally fine with cigarette butts. If you're a smoker, make sure it only hurts you and nobody else. If I wake up at 4 PM and go to bed at 9 AM, I'm lazy, do nothing all day, etc. Wake up at 4 AM, bed at 9. You're seen as a responsible member of society. Doesn't matter if you work the exact same number of hours, make the same money, do the exact amount of housework. Eater, holy cheese balls, this blew up. I can't reply to everyone, so I'll just add this. If you are just scrolling through the comments of the original post, please keep in mind that not everybody works a typical 8 AM to 5 PM job. Someone has to work the 24-hour jobs. Walmart, Waffle House, the gas station, the hospitals, emergency services, etc. If your house catches fire at 2 o'clock in the morning, you are not going to wait until 8 AM when typical jobs start to call somebody for help. Not everybody has the same circadian rhythm. I'm one of those people. I have something that is called delayed sleep phase syndrome or delayed sleep phase disorder, depending on the severity. I simply don't feel tired when I quote unquote a typical person would. I'm not sleepy until after sunrise. No, I cannot just change my sleep schedule. Yes, I've tried whatever it is you're thinking about typing and suggesting, probably several times. It doesn't work. Thank you for trying. I'm content being me as I am. I had a coworker who took a year of paternity leave when he and his wife had their youngest child. The stories he had, my god. The one I will always remember was when he was grocery shopping with the little one and passed a woman who had a similarly aged child. Her kid was throwing a tantrum and kicked over a big display. He felt bad and his kid was calmly chilling in the cart, so he was helping pick things up. She thanked him profusely, and some random elderly lady complimented him on helping out a poor single mother. Not more than 10 minutes his kid decides to melt down and throws her juice out of the cart, causing it to spill everywhere. He watched the mom he had helped, and the random elderly lady stood at the end of the aisle and made snarky comments about "This is exactly why I don't trust my husband with the baby" and other stupid shit, not once even considering to help him out while he struggled to calm kiddo and simultaneously clean up the mess. Teaching about how bad Hitler and the Holocaust were, while the collective nations of the world do nothing about China and its treatment of Uyghurs, while enjoying cheap electronics. Playing video games is a waste of time, unproductive, and you should be ashamed of doing that in your free time if you're older than 18. In fact, you're immature if you do. But reading a book, watching TV/Netflix, going to a bar/club/etc. is completely fine and encouraged for all ages, well, except bars and clubs. Why the hell do people despise video games specifically with such a passion? You're playing games when you could be something productive. Bullshit. You wouldn't say that to someone doing anything that I specified above during their free time, but you would to someone playing games, regardless if they actually were productive during the rest of the day or not. I was at the park working out a few years ago, and on a bench was a couple arguing. The girl proceeds to slap the crap out of her boyfriend. She then goes for another, but the dude blocked her and held her wrist. The girl then burst into tears and questioned why he hurt her like that. To myself I was thinking, wait, you can hit him, but when he defends himself it's wrong? Like WTF. I had an ex-fiancée that hit me constantly. One time I went to block her, her hand hit my arm and she threw herself on the floor and started screaming, "I can't believe you hit me." I went into the bedroom and closed and locked the door. She then started banging with what I thought was her hands. It turns out it was her face. She gave herself a black eye and a bloody nose. She stopped after a while and called 911 and told the dispatcher I hit her. Cops came and questioned me and her. Luckily, I recorded her banging on the door. The cops looked at the door and saw marks on it. After some intense questioning of both of us, me in handcuffs in the squad car and her in the house, they believed me over her. I broke off the engagement and left her the next day. This reminds me of a night I was out at some bars with a few friends. We were about an even mix of men and women in my group when this clearly inebriated girl joined us. No one knew who she was, but we were being nice to her because she seemed alone. Fast forward about 20 minutes and we are leaving the bar. This girl, in her drunken state, decides to follow us. At this point she is a mess and we tell her to stay at the first bar with her friends if they are there, or we can get her a cab/Uber. She followed us down the street a ways, and this is a big city with lots of people around. We are walking on a crosswalk when one of my male friends turns to her and says, "Look, we don't know you. You should go back where you were or go home." She proceeds to wind up and punch/slap my friend in the face. She was probably around 5 feet 5 inches and my friend is 6 feet 2 inches and a pretty fit guy. I clearly remember my friend saying, "This is so stupid. I literally can't do anything, and she's the one hitting me." My friend ended up with a black eye and that girl left after trying to hit him again. Men vs women, guys as untrustworthy skeevy characters around children. There was a guy who posted a while ago who portrayed my point exactly about his experience being a teacher in infant school or something. Can't remember exactly, but the kids were pretty young. He loved being a teacher to help them, give them a good future, and watching them learn and develop into smart kids. However, there were a couple of occasions he got pulled aside by the head teacher for being "inappropriate." One of them being taking a young girl to the classroom/nurse's office and giving her some antiseptic cream and plaster for her scrapes since she fell over in the playground. Purely because he was a guy he was told parents might feel uncomfortable about that by his own head teacher, like leaving a crying, bleeding kid in the playground was a more appropriate idea than her own teacher helping. Having opinions on styles. Was at a bar with some friends and the girls were making fun of this guy's hair. Then a girl came in with the buzzed side of the head thing and I commented that I wasn't a fan of that style, and they got super defensive for her and telling me she can do whatever she wants and I can go fuck myself. Edit. Wow, I was not expecting this to take off at all. Thanks for the points. There's a lot to get to in these responses, so sorry if I don't get to you. I wish I could spend one day talking to my mother the way she talks to me. Sniping at her over every mistake, shouting her name from across the house, and expecting her to drop everything and come talk to me, dismissing anything she says that I don't agree with by just saying no with no actual argument, and expecting her to drop it. Abusive behavior is funny when coming from a woman. I pointed out to my husband that in movies and TV shows, women get upset by a man's actions and slap him and no one bats an eye. I'm an older woman who grew up with a violent mother and I know firsthand the scars that remain from those acts of abuse. Over the years I've heard too many horror stories from male friends and in forums where they describe horrific physical, verbal, and emotional abuse from their female partners. Showing a woman hitting a man normalizes this cruelty, and it needs to stop. Spot on. As a man who had previously been pushed around and punched in one instance, let alone the constant psychological and emotional abuse throughout the entire relationship, before leaving an ex many years ago, it was treated as a complete joke by both the police and most friends/people I knew. The policeman laughed at me and said, "Mate, that doesn't sound right. Women don't do that sort of thing," and most other people I know just had a laugh about it, not taking it seriously whatsoever. I wasn't in any real danger if I'm a strong person who is physically capable of defending themselves, but that is irrelevant. Would it have been the same story if I had been cracked in the jaw and pushed around by a bloke if I was a woman? You be the judge. Daughters are raised and taught to clean and cook while brothers get cleaned up after. My brother is 10 years younger than me, he's 15, and my mother got upset with me when I suggested he learn to take out the trash or literally single chore. When I was his age, I was cooking and cleaning and helping take care of him, while doing well in school and doing extracurriculars. Pedophile teachers. When it's a man, you tend to see male teacher raped student, and when they're women it's normally female teacher had sex with student. I despise the downplaying of it when the teacher is a woman, and seeing comments like "that kid should be lucky, his teacher is hot" disgusts me. Tipping on a restaurant bill being an expectation, but not paying your workers a fair wage. The customer is always the bad guy in the scenario if you don't tip, even though it's employers who short their employees. I get an entree and ask the server for a good salad or wine pairing, and they know their stuff. I'm all for it. Getting shitty service from someone who does not care at all, but still expected to at least tip something? Not as big of a fan. Why should I have to subsidize your employees' bills because you won't pay them a livable wage? Something has to give eventually, and I don't think I should be expected to pay 15% on top of every bill just because it's expected. I would rather they raise prices 15-18% across the board, eliminate tips, and pay their workers a livable wage.